Okay, so I think I have roughly everything you'll need. The image you sent to actually build out that scene would take a fair bit of time. So the first thing you would want to do is I'm assuming you have your material already, and I'm assuming that you have just like a good brushing system so that the brushing looks good or looks like the reference when light starts to hit it. From there, so what I've done is I just took the background and I just made it just not pitch black, but very dark. I just took the original startup and just uh cranked the brightness down, dropped the contrast a little bit, put some saturation and shifted it to blue because your image does a bit of that, but that's also a bit of an AI image thing where sometimes they'll use subtle complementary colors. So I'm not sure if that's something you wanted to do. But if you wanted to do that, you would make your background slightly blue, your lighting background slightly blue, super dark, and then your lights, you would have them be a little bit on the warmer side. So from there, what I did is I added what I'm just gonna refer to as bar lights. So those long straight lines. All it is you just take a pin light, you set it to rectangular. You could, I guess you could do this with a circular as well. And you just make it super, super skinny and extremely tall. Now for some reason it does tend to bug out when I do it when you can't see that it's tall all the way. So if I would have set it to like 0.5 or maybe like a 1, now you can see it, but I don't know. I guess something happens when I drop it down to 0.2. And that will get you that kind of striated light effect. Um, the other thing you want to do is you want to make this pretty bright and you want to give it a very aggressive fall off. Essentially, the effect that you're looking for is an extremely bright light that feathers off extremely quickly. It's more about precision. You want to get like one really, really hot point towards the center and then just feather off immediately. And unfortunately, you're having to do this artificially just to get your scene to look the way you want and give yourself some control. So I just put in a few of these in there. Another thing that you actually will want as well is just other like utility lights because so the reason the background is so dark is so that when you have a shadow and you have sort of like that feathering light, that everything's super high contrast and things will go from near blown out light to pitch black very quickly. And that's part of kind of like the high contrast appeal of that image. But to kind of bring things back to a bit of a readable state, you actually will want to have a couple of lights. Like I have like a side light in there. That's just so that that side panel can read a bit better because if you take it off, it's just this harsh black spot there. You'll probably want a couple of those. So like maybe like one for the top. I think maybe one for the back. Give yourself a rim light. That might be really nice. But essentially that is the gist of how I would approach that scene. This would be my sort of like preferred method. There is another method that you could use as well, which is that you just take planes and you apply an area light to them. And so you can have it, on camera. I would keep it hidden from camera, but while you're editing, you can have it on camera. Um, this one works. You would essentially do the same thing as the other process I showed you with the pin lights, but you'd be using alphas and gradients to create the effect. This is going to depend purely on your psychology because I used to work almost exclusively like this, and I used to never, oh, well, not never, but very rarely use pin lights, and I've since shifted. So this is going to come down to a matter of your own personal preference as an artist. But yeah, both of these can work. I think maybe a combination of both would give you the nicest results. But overall, yeah, this is how I would approach this. Let me know if you have any questions and I hope this helps.